Hello, Wakulla County, and welcome to the Wakulla Summer Sunday radio program, an exploration of our county, our people, our traditions. I am your host, Herb Donaldson. This year, once again, our country celebrates our nation's independence. Our condition of being free from control, influence, support, acting and working from our own ideas. Last week, the Tallahassee Democrat had the following headline: Biggest worker shakeup in history. 1,295 state employees lose their jobs to budget cuts. Is this really the end of the world? The last train on its way to a final stop? Or is it an opportunity? A carpe diem, seize the day type moment. A chance to place our energy, our effort, into something that may not make us rich, but satisfied. It's been said that freedom is not something that can be given. It must be taken. So, we decided to speak to a few people in our county to find out what it means to take back, to regain one's own sense of independence. Business is
Black Bean Cuban Cuisine.
Why did you start a business in Wakulla County?
I've lived in Wakulla County for about 4 or 5 years and did a lot of demographic studies, been in the restaurant business about 25 years. Okay. And this spot, there wasn't really any competition for it. Tallahassee and the surrounding areas, June, July, and August are your slowest months. No government in session, not as many college students around, not as many professors around. It's a little softer than the fall is. Nobody's going to sit out on the deck when it's 10,000 degrees, that kind of thing. Yeah. We're steady. Okay. So, what do you enjoy most about Wakulla County? I love the peace and quiet out here. Love the housing cost is better, utility cost is better. Just a pretty place to live, good place to have your kids. Okay. Is there anything that you wish Wakulla had more of, or would develop at least? More retail and some chain restaurants.
One growing business in Crawfordville is the Works Co-working Cafe. We spoke to the owner, Chuck Robinson.
In a nutshell, it's your traditional cafe married with office space in a conference room. The idea is you take the cafe environment where people generally meet for coffee or whatnot, and you give them some privacy or some productive work environment by including the offices and the conference room so that they can meet with other clients, etc. When I first looked at opening something like the Works, I tried to go around and see, what facilities were available for, say, meetings or offices. And there are office spaces available with a similar model. We have an office in a common shared space. And, of course, there are other places like a cafe where you can get coffee. Obviously, the two didn't exist in the same spot, and as well as the limited ability to have Wi-Fi internet access as well, which is really important, not only in my field, but I know in a lot of other people's fields. Their ability to check email on the road or get work done while they're not at their home office. So I knew I was onto something there because I've seen co-working, which is the general way of describing this, work in the bigger cities where you have techies or real estate agents who just basically need a space to meet with clients or just to get away out of the home office and away from the dog and the kids to actually get some work done. They didn't need anything permanent, like a long-term lease or utility bills or anything like that. So the success of co-working in the bigger cities I knew would also translate into the more rural areas in America, because that's where more and more jobs are being created by small business people, wasn't it? Absolutely. Although we do have other unique members. A member, for example, who uses the space to work on his PhD dissertation. And of course, other students have used the rooms to give themselves some privacy, some quiet time, and that way they don't have to worry about the general atmosphere of a cafe disrupting them. They can just close the door and work away. So, but mostly we tailor to the small business person. Yes, the version 1 of the works was to get off the ground, get out there and show small businesses of ways of using the co-working space, meeting with other small business people, micro-entrepreneurs, work together in partnerships. 2.0 we vision as being a almost like an incubator, a business incubator, so that when we have our members can get access to, say, mentors who have banking and finance experience, or they have experience with launching other types of businesses. There's legal things that they would need to consider as well. So 2.0 is actually taking these small businesses and growing them beyond the walls of this place, and hopefully to set up their now larger than one person company somewhere else in Wakulla to get their own building, to get their own staff, and therefore we're creating jobs. And the real part of 2.0 is to create jobs.
What have I got that the others ain't? That always seems to please. Ain't my
Later, we met with Ethan, who runs a family business along Highway 319.
Just like they were bees, there's
Tupelo honey.
Tupelo honey. So, is it a family business?
Yes, sir. We started the business about 20 years ago. My grandpa did, and he wanted a way to support missionaries in his church. And so at first he did have his own bees, and he did a lot of more wildflower, not so much Tupelo. But he did his own bees there for about 5 years. But then my grandmother got stung, and they found out she was allergic, and it nearly killed her. So we had to he was trying to figure out a way we could still do the whole Tupelo business and still support his missionaries. So we decided to start buying from a man, Stan Wilson, who he started selling to us for about 15 years ago, and we've been buying Tupelo honey for him ever since. And we ain't never had anyone come back and say this isn't Tupelo honey. And the most people they look for it to sugar up and turn into sugar, but that's one thing about Tupelo honey. If it's pure Tupelo, it's not going to do that.
every sea. There is honey in the honeycomb, and honey, there is love in me.
It's very unsure of what you're going to do every day. One day you could have an amazing day because someone comes through and decides they want a lot of honey, or you have a rich person might come in through and decide they want to try out a lot of the products. And a lot of the products I sell are unique, and I think that's what that's what brings in a little bit of attention.
Okay.
But you have local traffic, and then you also have traveling people going up and down the coast. So it's a very unsure. You don't ever know what kind of a day you're gonna have.